Have you ever considered creating enemies for your brand? Yes, I said enemies. This may sound counterintuitive, but after I break it down, you might find that this could be a very strong strategy to help your brand grow. If you have a brand and you sell online, you're looking for marketing and advertising strategies through artificial intelligence, this video is going to be for you. So when it comes down to creating an enemy, basically what we're saying is you are drawing the line in the sand as a brand owner. And when you draw this line, you're going to stand on one side of the line and take a stance. So that might be a stance when it comes down to a mindset, a belief, a popular narrative. There's several ways to really go about it, but what you're saying is this is what I stand for. And then on the other side of that line, that's going to be everything that you stand against and that you oppose. Now, what's going to happen is when you draw that line in the sand, there's going to be people in your current audience and then also your future audience who are going to rally around you. They're going to have the same belief, the same mindset. They're going to stay down because you are the one, you're the voice, you're the spokesperson that really represents how they feel. And as a result of that, they become very loyal to your brand because it's almost like a safe haven and really just a place that they can connect with like-minded individuals. But then also at the same time, when you go to the other side of that line, there's going to be a group of people who are totally against it. They're not going to rock with your message at all. You might find trolls on social media, and you have to understand that you got to be okay with that. All right, you have to be okay with getting a little bit of criticism. At the end of the day, people who are against you, they seem a little bit louder than the people who are with you, but you just got to block that noise out and focus on, your crew and the people who are really supporting you. So with that being said, I want to give you a couple examples. When I first started talking about artificial intelligence and I started learning about it, especially AI art, it was the first time that I realized that I had so many people who were against it, right? And then they were against my viewpoint. Now, I didn't intentionally go out to make it that way. I just loved it. I came across AI art. I was like, man, I've always loved artwork. This is a way that I can use these tools to bring art to life. I can do it really fast, and I was amazed by it. But as I was starting to put out content, there were people out there who went against it. I got so many just, different types of comments and stuff on my content, and it was a shock for me because, ever since I've been doing T-Shirt Millionaires, people been rocking with me heavy. So, for me to be able to get just kind of like opposition to my content, it was weird, but I realized at that point that artificial intelligence was polarizing. So if I wanted to, I could take the stance and I could say, I'm pro AI. I love what it does. It helps me as an entrepreneur. It helps us bring ideas to life faster. We can create amazing designs for our T-shirts and our products. And I can really take that stance and say, hey, if you're against AI, you need to get with the times. Things are changing. It's changing right before our eyes. Like this is something that, how could you be against it, right? I could take a stance. Now, when you take a stance, I don't want you to be disrespectful. I don't think that it's even good to be, don't lack morals or lack morality, right? When you're doing it, right? Be respectful, but state your point, right? State your stance. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I want to give you another example. When I had, when I was running my Black Fatherhood brand, I had a niche. It was around Black fatherhood. And the stance that I took in that brand was Black fathers, we're here, we're present. We spend time with our children. We're raising our children, regardless of the narrative out there that says that, we're absent, we're not present, we're bad fathers. I wanted to fight that negative stereotype that happened, in the mainstream media, and that we hear all the time in the Black community, right? So that was my stance, and that was me throwing a rock at that popular narrative. So with that being said, there were so many fathers and women and, people in our community who really rallied around the Black fatherhood message because it stood for something, right? And it gave us a place to be able to connect and then also fight against the opposition, which was the negative stereotype. And so the other thing that I really want you to understand too is it doesn't always have to be a person or a group of people. It can be a narrative. Now, narratives, train of thought do come from people, but it can be just fighting against a specific narrative. It doesn't have to be aimed at direct people. You get what I'm saying? And that's a way that you can draw a line in the sand. So one thing that I want you to understand is start figuring out who are the enemies that are against your brand or your message. First off, you have to understand what your brand message and your brand stands for. And then from there, how can you identify enemies? So what I have done is I have created an artificial intelligence tool that will help you understand who your enemies are, right? So what I want to do is show you this tool. I want to walk you through how to utilize it so you can be able to start understanding who your enemies are so you could draw a line in the sand and start really building your community. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so right now I am on tshirtmillionaires.ai, okay? And so when I come to tshirtmillionaires.ai, what I'm gonna do is click on Browse Tools, and then I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna click on the Brand Enemy Identifier. Now, when we look at the description of this tool, it says build brand loyalty by creating a us versus them mentality. This tool helps you find out who's not really on your team when it comes to what your brand stands for. So if we come over here to the right-hand side, we see brand message. And then we have example, we homeschool and don't believe in traditional education system, right? So that's one angle as an example. But let's go back to the whole artificial intelligence. I really like artificial intelligence artwork and how AI can create amazing graphics for my brand, right? So that's something that I believe in. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on submit. And then when I click on submit, what happens is there's gonna be enemies that start popping up, right? So the first one is enemy number 1, traditional artwork purists. These are individuals who believe in preserving the traditional methods of creating artwork and view artificial intelligence AI artwork as a threat to the authenticity and creativity in the industry, right? So that is one enemy, right, that is against artificial intelligence, where I could draw a line in the sand. Now, the next thing is enemy 2, skeptics of AI's potential in artwork. These are critics who doubt the capabilities of AI in producing high quality, aesthetically pleasing graphics for brands. Number 3, high cost professional design agencies. These are established design agencies that charge an exorbitant fees for their services, making it difficult for small businesses or startups to access high quality graphics. Now, when I look at all 3 of these, I have to say that I totally understand the traditional artwork purists. I totally understand the skeptics of AI potential in artwork, right? I think that I do believe in art, man. I love artists. I love what artists do. And what I truly believe is that artificial intelligence art is gonna make human art way more valuable. It's gonna be like, I wouldn't say nostalgia, but I think it's just gonna drive up the value of human artwork, period, right? I just think that there's a certain value that comes from a human being that can never come from a computer, regardless of what the computer produces, right? But when we go to enemy number 3, I really think that that's a cool one, right? So, you know, professional design agencies. I had someone tell me not too long ago that they spent $2,000, I think, on a logo. And my mind was blown because I've always used like tools like, you know, graphic design. I think I've never spent maybe over $100 on a logo, right? And so with that being said, I think that that is a perfect enemy that I could, you know, throw rocks against, right? And then have my audience really rally around artificial intelligence and what it can do, because it helps you do it faster. You can create quality in quantity. You can do it in abundance, you know, and different things like that. So I think that's a really great one. And then what I could do, y'all, is I could come here and I could click regenerate, right? And then basically it's just going to keep going, right? So conventional graphic design is another one. Limited customization, high skill barrier. That's a real cool one. So this has nothing to do with a group of people, but one of the enemies is a high skill barrier. This enemy represents the belief that creating amazing graphics requires extensive graphic design skills or professional expertise. That right there is like a perfect marketing angle, right? To say, hey, listen, artificial intelligence is amazing. I love the artwork over here. You don't have to worry about learning Photoshop and learning Adobe Illustrator and spending all of this time, you know, learning these programs. We could come in here, type in a few words and get artwork just like that. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes down to creating an enemy. So what I want you to do is start really thinking about this. Use this AI tool. I got a couple of ways to help you. Number 1, go to tshirtmillionaires.ai. Sign up. You can get a free account to start. You get 2,000 free words. And then when you sign up, go ahead and play with the brand enemy identifier. And when you start playing with this specific tool, then what's going to happen is you're going to start getting an understanding of who your enemies are. The next thing that you can do is also go to community.tshirtmillionaires.ai. We're forming a community where all we are talking about is artificial intelligence and how it can apply to our brand, and it's amazing. And so with that being said, y'all, you can go below the video, click on the links, join the program, join the community, and look forward to building with you. And remember, draw a line in the sand, because when you do, people who rock with you, they're going to rally around you. You're going to create a community of strong, loyal followers and customers. If you can see it with your mind's eye, one day you're going to be able to see it with your real eyes. Many blessings, T-Shirt Millionaires. Talk in the next video.